crew? Hope everybody is having a great morning so far. Markets are looking a little choppy this morning. We had some data
Hello,
come out
hello,
right
Jordan.
now.
Are you there?
Can you hear me? Oh, can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Uh-oh. Okay,
Perfect.
we're good.
Perfect. I can hear you.
All right, good. Just making sure. But yeah, we're getting things going this morning. I had some data come out. We had that initial jobless claims data come out, so really not doing much. Just going sideways. I'm excited for the market opening to get this morning going. Shy, how we feeling? We ready to go?
I am ready to go. Yeah, I saw that unemployment came higher than expected. Not unemployment. Blanking on the
The jobless
term.
claims.
Jobless claims. Yeah. So the number came in at 223,000. Expectations 221. Remember, guys, I think we're at that period of time where bad news is good news for the market. So I think something like 223 beating 221, that's essentially in line. It's not really that much of a missed expectation or beat expectations. So I think the macro day was very meh. I think today the market's again V-shaped recovered since we had that 8% pullback in QQQ, and now we're about to or we can taste the all-time
It was
highs.
very
Like we can
strong
taste
yesterday. I was
very
trying to
close.
short and definitely shouldn't have been. So took a little loss yesterday, but we managed it all good. So let's get into the daily rip. Get going for the morning. Recap what happened yesterday. All right, here's the heat map. A lot more red you're noticing here rather than yesterday, but still big tech names looking good, right? Tesla definitely pulled back, but majority of the tech names still holding strong. You see decent red in that energy sector, which we saw over the past few days as well. So that's staying weak. Real estate sector looking weak. Utilities looking weak as well. So definitely a lot more red in the market, but big tech still holding up green so far. Shy. Anything stand out to you from the heat map here?
Yeah, so I think a lot of yesterday's action was in response to the Stargate initiative that was announced Monday night, or sorry, Tuesday night. The $500 billion Stargate initiative that partnered up with OpenAI, Microsoft, Oracle, ARM, etc. So I think there was a lot of sympathy plays that were had yesterday in result to that. It's clearly if that massive initiative is going to be driving a lot of the semiconductor names because they are the kingpin of the stage one of AI or the infrastructure phase. So if this much billions of dollars are going towards building these data centers, these chip makers are going to benefit from that, and it's a trickle effect. So you saw semis go really strong. Clearly, Nvidia is going to be the Nvidia is the king of the digital economy. So if there's going to be more AI infrastructure to spend, they're going to benefit the most out of anyone. So you saw them catch a bit. You saw Palantir also catch a bit as well, where they're going to be the operating system for AI. So if Oracle is going to be the data nerve center behind Stargates, a lot of the foundry from Palantir is on the OCI for Oracle. So it's simply play that if Oracle benefits from infrastructure, Palantir will as well via foundry. So I think Palantir is up 5%. But you also saw like a lot of like it's just AI. AI was a really hot theme yesterday because you're go- you're kind of seeing like the beginnings of something massive occur on spend towards AI this year. In a Trump-led presidency, you will just because this was $500 billion from Stargate. I think we just got a Saudi commitment of 600 billion as well towards AI American investment, but really it's AI. So I think in just 2 or 3 days, like we've gone $1 trillion of dedicated resources towards American AI. This is just less than 1 week into Trump's presidency. So like I think you're seeing like it's a pre-read of wow, they're not going to force these thematics to happen, but they're going to accelerate it. And you can't miss this boat. You just really can't. So I think that's what happened yesterday. Just a lot of AI names or simply plays from that Stargate was running, and that took the indices with it because it's a heavy component of QQQ and SPY.
Yeah, just going off what you're talking about, the companies, right? They'll invest $100 billion to begin with, plans to expand to 500 billion in the coming years and potentially create 100,000 U.S. jobs. So that's great for the jobs market there. And then AI leaders have been raising concerns that more data centers and the chips, electricity, water, and the other resources needed to run them are critical to powering the U.S.'s AI ambitions in the years ahead. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said, I think this will be the most important project of this era. So, yeah, just kind of touching off what you were going there. And then you see the Mag 7 ETF as well, just kind of consolidating, but trying to bump its head and peek over those highs again. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. But moving on, we got ASTS sinks on private offering. After the bell, the company announced plans to offer $400 million in convertible senior notes dues in 2032 through a private offering to qualified institutional buyers. Initial purchasers will have an option to buy an additional $60 million in notes within 13 days of issuance. So pretty crazy. I'm sure I haven't looked at ASTS this morning, but I'm sure we're starting to move off of that. Definitely getting some volatility. Ooh, that was a big move down, looks like. But that might have happened Wednesday. Yeah, that was yesterday. Interesting. So big move down on that. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that. I don't know about you, Shy. You got any thoughts there?
Yeah, it's a top five position for me in my small cap portfolio. I added this morning. Again, like this is part of the course, especially for ASTS, where their business model is heavy in capex, like really heavy. So they're going to be doing some dilution along their growth story. So like this is just part of the course. Rock Lab did the same thing early 2024. They did it at a really lower price, which is annoying ish, but it doesn't affect the long-term thesis of the company at all. It's still intact. They will become this American Tower of space, and they're just gaining the funds necessary to fulfill that vision. This is a buying. These are my favorite kind of buying opportunities because there's nothing thesis breaking. It's just pure dilution, which it sucks in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to forget about it. And if the estimates are like factual, they're about to be printing $1 billion in net income in 2027. So like this 400 million is going to be peanuts in a couple years. So I'm adding, but also this name is clearly consolidating since that massive gap up from those partnerships that were announced with AT&T, Verizon, etc. So this is one of those names where it's been it's been ranging, and I think the long term thesis is intact. If the estimates are anywhere close to what the street are assuming, this is going to be a steal under $20. And there's going to be, we just mentioned Stargate as initiative, like 500 billion. There's going to be space infrastructure initiatives sometime in the next couple months because the first buddy, Elon, is going to benefit SpaceX and Starlink. It's going to be high tide raises all boats. So if billions of flow is going towards space infrastructure, ASTS will benefit substantially from it as well. Same with Rock Lab and Redwire.
Yep, 100%. Some other noteworthy pops and drops. Progress Software down 9%. Got DigitalOcean. I almost said DocuSign for a second. DigitalOcean up 5%. Recursion Pharmaceuticals up 9%. What do we got? GEV up 3%. C3AI. That's a name I haven't looked at in a while. I used to trade that all the time, but that got a little pop. Textron down 4%. Comerica down 5%. Halliburton. These are some names I've never heard of. Celestica up 5%. Seagate up 7%. What do we got with these bigger movers? AGYS, the provider of hospitality industry-focused software-enabled solutions and services, reported mixed results and cut its guidance. So down 20% on that. That looks like the biggest mover from the list. But I'm noticing on Recursion Pharmaceuticals, the Nvidia-backed biotech caught a bit alongside other AI plays as investors look to ride the next wave. I feel like that's right up your alley, Shah. You got any thoughts on that or any other names that are on here?
That's funny. I do own Recursion in my small cap portfolio. So like, I think Ellison, the Oracle CEO, I mean Oracle founder and CEO, he highlighted how much AI is going to revolutionize healthcare, or specifically for precision medicine. And I think Altman said the same thing. Like, I think a lot of the Stargate initiative was healthcare based, and I think there's like 5 or 6 pure AI healthcare plays in the market right now, and I do think that like Recursion is one of them. Like they're the AI driven drug discovery. Another one is Tempus AI, which I am watching actually because pre-market's down 4%. I'm looking to add a position because they're going to be the AI data platform precision medicine. Then you also have PSNL, which is decoding genomes for AI. You have SDGR, AI-driven drug design. Like these names, they're been basing for years in biotech world or in biotech doghouse due to the high interest rate environments. Those days are over. And I said like one of the key, like one of the areas in 2025 you want exposure in is in these high quality lagging small caps that are in an interest vulnerable industry like biotech. So they're all, in my opinion, really undervalued, trading very close to their pipeline or cash. And if there's going to be more flow towards AI initiatives in healthcare, they're going to have a stupid amount of partnerships announced. These like 4 or 5 small cap names. Recursion is one of them. So I think Recursion is a really interesting story. Again, it's Nvidia backed. Trust Jensen, the goats. Another one I want to make comment is DigitalOcean. This is one I'm so freaking bullish on. A lot of people don't talk about it that much, but it's the pure cloud computing play for SMBs. And one of the theses I've been saying a lot in this show is I think AI agents is going to change the game. Agentic AI will cause a massive SMB explosion to the extent that nobody can even dream of. Like there's going to be 100, 1,000x SMBs due to AI agents can create 10 companies overnight. Like it's going to be a rapid pace. Compute is going to be exploding in the coming years. So AWS is my king of compute, but if my thesis for S&P explosion is accurate and compute's going to also explode, DigitalOcean is going to have a massive tailwind. So this announcement that they made yesterday was purely tackling what I just mentioned. Like they're capitalizing on AI agents. And they made this new gen AI platform where they can essentially allow customers to use third-party providers like the AWS's, Azure's, Google Cloud, etc. for AI agents. Like it's trying to it's seeing that vision, and like I love to see it. And I think this is one of those stories where they're trading at 15 times their EBITDA multiple this year, but it's because they're only growing 13 or 14% with 20% margins, which is, in my opinion, still discounted, like really discounted. But if that growth goes towards 20, 25%, and their margins don't really deteriorate, this is a massive re-rating on the stock, and it's going to go trading at 40 to 50 times EBITDA. That's a 3xer. So that's why I think this name like could be $100 stock, and it's one I've been building recently because of my thesis. So love to see that announcement yesterday, and hopefully it catches the eyes of more investors in the market.
Yeah, good stuff there. Let's moving on. Today's top things. We got some economic data. We talked about that jobless claims came out already. Let's see. It was 223K. The forecast was 220K. And then continuing jobless claims were also slightly higher at 1.89 million versus 1.86 million. So just watching that. We got EIA energy inventories at 11 o'clock Eastern. Bank of Japan rate decision at 10 o'clock Eastern. That's PM though, not AM. So that's later tonight for Japan. Pre-market earnings, we got GE. That's already going off. I think it did really well so far, and it's continuing. So keeping an eye on that. We got American Airlines as well. Alaska Air Group, Freeport McMoran, FCX. That's what that was, yeah. Tal Education, Union Pacific, Nova Gold Resources, McCormick, Make My Trip. I've never heard of those two. And then we got after-hour earnings today, Intuitive Surgical, Texas Instruments, and CSX. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on all that. And yeah, should be a fun day with all this. Any other earnings that you're really... I feel like... Are you interested in Intuitive Surgical, Shy? Or is that not really a name up your alley?
No, I love ISRG. It's just the one that got away. I sold at
Yeah.
$300 a couple years ago. I was like, valuation is... It was a bigger company. Like my appetite at the time was more for smaller mid cap. I was such a schmuck, and I've been waiting for a buying opportunity in this name. It just hasn't really provided it to me at all. So it's one of those names that got away, and it's annoying because I think as the demographic in the U.S. or the world gets older and older. Oh my blah, I can't even speak. Once the boomers get older and older, like this is going to be a robotic surgery is going to be a necessity. So I do think this is a name that they already pre-announced last week. So like the earnings won't be that much of a reaction because they had really strong numbers. It went up 9% already, but it's one name that needs to be on everyone's list. Like if the recession does occur, there's a crash in the markets, we have a bear market. That's one of the names I'm going to be heading towards.
Yeah, 100%. Let's take a look at ARM here. Major momentum from ARM Holdings. We've seen this get some real big moves outside of this kind of consolidation period we've been stuck in. So something I want to note here, right? You can clearly see the difference, guys, in you know actual momentum pushing this price versus just back and forth consolidation, which is what you've seen for a while now, right? Now you're actually seeing real momentum step in, and actual volume come into this. So I love this breakout. I think this looks really strong. Obviously, I wouldn't looking at it right now. If you're not in, I wouldn't be trying to buy these highs. I think that's a little arrogant. But on any sort of constructive back tests or pullbacks, I think this does look pretty solid until you really get a break of structure back to the downside. So looking good here. Any thoughts on Armshy?
They're the blueprint of Stargate. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're just one of those companies that every device for the next for the future of human mankind, in my opinion, are gonna have somewhat of an AI chip associated with it. And it's not the ones you are typically gonna think about, like, oh, it's gonna be like data centers, phones, etc. No, it's go in your kitchen. There's going to be an AI chip in your toaster, AI chip in your fridge. There's going to be chips in everything that you use every single day. It's going to be powered by ARM. So this is why like the world is their TAM. SoftBank owns 80% of their shares and they're not dumping any of it because this is the future and this is the best picks and shovels play to capitalize on that. And this is another same boat as ISRG. I wish I've been waiting for a dip. Valuations prevented me from it. And I looks like it's just running without me getting any chance to participate. And that's fine. It happens. But Arm Holding is just one of those like incredible companies to own.
Yes, sir. Looking good right now. AMD at a critical level. Gosh, AMD. I feel like the amount of times we've talked about this and then since then just seen it keep going down, it's been ridiculous. But I mean, definitely trying to get a bounce from the bottom of this range. For me, it's just you see no real break of structure to the upside. It's continuous lower lows, lower highs. So you need to see a change there. You need to see some sideways basing price action, um, some higher lows, some higher highs forming. You're really just not seeing that yet. But it is starting to get a little more sideways rather than straight down, which I do like. But I haven't had much interest in AMD lately with the way it's been trading. I even got rid of my long-term shares at the end of last year, so not really loving it here. But I think if you get a blow off top kind of through, you gotta blow through that previous resistance again. Start making higher highs. If you don't do that, this thing can just continue to fall slowly. So I'd be watching out for that. Shy, any more thoughts on AMD? I mean, I feel like everybody knows your standpoint on AMD for the most
Yeah,
part. You know what I mean? But any more
I
thoughts
want
here?
I want AM yeah, I want AMD to succeed. Like I'm not like bearish. Like I don't want them just to go lower and lower. Like I'm just being a very rational third party. Like I don't own Nvidia anymore. I'm just saying like machine learning is already so difficult to like master or get to its full potential. Like why would you settle for second fiddle hardware to tackle machine learning? Like you just don't. The only pitch you can have for AMD, it's not like their whole narrative like they're second fiddle to Nvidia. Whoever can't afford Nvidia or Nvidia's demand so high, like those go for the next best. That's AMD. That's not a good thesis in my opinion because there's not just Nvidia as a competitor anymore. Like there's a lot of custom silicon chip. Hyperscalers are making their own custom silicon chips now, like Amazon and Amazon and Google. Like it's just like it's becoming a you can't just be a hardware company anymore. That's the end of the day, and you need to have an ecosystem around your hardware. AMD doesn't have that. Their software solution is so disappointing, and that's something that they need to solve for the stock to break out. In my opinion, like that's something that needs to be fixed. And inference like might be a major tailwind for them, but like their software solution is just so mid. It's just it needs to get. They need to make some acquisitions or do something with it because right now it's not okay.
Yeah, I'm with ya. Cisco systems testing major breakout levels. So this is a big spot for Cisco. you really want to see momentum here, right? You don't want to see this be slowing down into the resistance. If you are looking for that breakout of that $70, you want to see this hold momentum and build. If not, get kind of what you've seen here, which is you got close to this resistance area and you've been consolidating, right? You did get up and tap that area. And you did see rejection, but it's not super aggressive to the downside. You're holding higher lows and continuing to consolidate under that big breakout level. So to me, it looks pretty decent for the breakout. Generally, if I'm looking for rejection, you want to see one, maybe, two times you're kind of testing that area and you see real aggressive selling off of that. You're just not seeing that here, right? You do see rejection, but again, like I said, you're holding this whole bullish structure and you're kind of building that momentum, especially recently. You look at those past few days as, I don't know if this is on a daily chart, or no, it's on a 5, I think. Either way, you look at those past few candlesticks, the way that momentum is building as well. So looking pretty solid. I want to see that continuation of momentum. And then when you do actually break out, right, you want to see fast, aggressive buying, not peeking its head over that $70 and then coming right back down. So I think Cisco looks pretty good though. Any thoughts, Shy?
Yeah, I mean, this is they're catching a bit from the Stargate Initiative. I mean, IT infrastructure is going to be a major uh, beneficiary on a Trump-led presidency this year. It is. There's going to be billions of dollars of flow going towards IT infrastructure. So Cisco does the networking of it. So Broadcom, Marvell, Cisco, Arista, like these names, they're the networking component of IT infrastructure for AI data centers. They're going to catch a bid if there's going to be billions of dollars being flowed towards data centers. So I'm not surprised. And yeah, I just treat it as another networking play for IT infrastructure.
Yep, I'm with you. Reminder: if you're in the audience, feel free to drop tickers in the chat. We'll go over them here in a bit after the market opens, which is happening in about 8 minutes. So just want to remind everybody: feel free to drop those tickers. We'll go over them. NNE battery leader Nano One rises. This is starting to look good, getting over that resistance with momentum. Again, you kind of see the difference, right, in the price action versus when we were kind of consolidating back and forth here, testing that resistance. You get there, you'd have great momentum up into it, and then, once you'd kind of get into that area, things would definitely slow down, right? Right back down, consolidation. Tap back in, strong day into that area, but then no continuation, right? That next day just kind of drilling right back down. And now you're seeing that momentum start to actually continue, right? Instead of just going up, having a strong day into that area, and then next day we open up and fail it again, we're actually getting displacement over those areas that we couldn't before. So something to watch here. I don't. Looks like we're getting into that $40. $50 is obviously a big psychological level. So any longs, I think $50 is obviously a spot you want to watch. You'd probably see plenty of people trying to sell there, just being a big psychological level. But I think this is starting to look good, and you're starting to get that rising volume as well. You just want to see continuation of that, right? You want to see more momentum flooding in. So, any thoughts, Shy, on this? I don't. Have you looked at this
I
one?
mean, it's going to be a beneficiary on data center investments, alternative energy. So I do think it's hard not to be invested in anything AI related. I know I'm a perma AI bull, but you're seeing all these charts, they're all correlated to something specific, and that's AI infrastructure. It is. It just is. That's where you want to be right now. It's don't fight that trend, in my opinion. So, NNE is a great name to capitalize on that as well.
Absolutely. Netflix dominates in the streaming wars. Gosh, I mean, just look at the chart, man. Look at the earnings. It's ridiculous. Netflix is just absolutely dominated. I feel like that's even an understatement, to be honest. So, love to see it from Netflix. There was, there was a time in 2023 where the whole market was in the red, and I was buying everything. The one thing I didn't buy was Netflix. Let me tell you, I'm heavily regretting that today. But all good. We find other plays, but damn, that is one where, oh, just watching that go, and you'd be trading, at $1,000 now. It's ridiculous. So shout out Netflix. They're doing really good. They're just absolutely killing it in the space, and I think they're going to continue to do so and continue to innovate. And yeah, any thoughts, Shy? I mean, I know you're a Netflix guy. How are we feeling about this chart right here?
They won the war, streaming war.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. I think there was an actual worry back when COVID, like in 2021, 2022, when like every company was essentially making their own streaming app, and you were worried that like what Netflix had was a commodity at that point. I was worried. I was part of that camp. I was like, I don't know. Like, if every company's going to create their own streaming app, like, eventually the business economics would turn profitable like it did for Netflix in the past. Like, I'd be a little worried. I was wrong, and Netflix proved they have a moat because of that. Like, they won that streaming wars. Their competitors could not figure out the scalability of. Um, I mean, Netflix had the first mover advantage, which led to their profitability a lot quicker than their competitors were able to realize once they joined the party. And now you're just seeing a lot of consolidation among their competitors because the business economics does not work for to be a streaming app. It doesn't work. Netflix had an first mover advantage, but nowadays it just does not work. So I think that alone deserves somewhat of a premium valuation on Netflix stock because it's like Tesla and EVs. Like, all the EV competitors can't figure out profitability yet on manufacturing these EV cars. It's the same thing with Netflix. Their competitors can't figure it out. So like they dominate streaming now, and in this post agentic AI world we're about to enter, owning IP is crucial. And 70% of the viewers on Netflix, what do they watch? Netflix originals, not the third party shows. And they're going to leverage that IP and interactive content or gaming or whatever it might be. They're going to leverage it. And that's a massive moat because intellectual property is everything in this post AI world. Capitalism is going to be brutal. Netflix has that. So they have a lot of flexibility and they're printing cash. It's just valuations that makes me pause. And like, I think there's better opportunities out there than investing in Netflix at 1,000. But I'm not saying Netflix can go down. I don't know if it'll give you that alpha in the near term or medium term. But it deserves praise because Bill Ackman sold out 60% ago. I think he had some similar worries about the moats or advantage back then. He was wrong. So like, that's another example. Like, even the best investors on the street, they get it wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
100%, man. Gonna be wrong. That's part of it. It's just about how we manage that risk, right? And how big our winners are at the end of the day. So, is the pain finally over for the 20-year bond? I think we had a bond auction yesterday. I don't remember 100%, but I think we did. We haven't been getting many moves off that. I feel like months ago, Shy, I don't remember exactly when, but I'm sure you remember when like we would get a bond auction middle of the day, and it was the biggest event of the day. You know what I mean? Now I really don't pay attention to them, at least when I'm intraday trading as much. But interested to see if we hold here. We're right around this $85. Kind of have that. I hate chart patterns, but you kind of have that inverse head and shoulders there, and then maybe you could get running back to that 95 and then $100. So I'd be looking for this to potentially hold this area, but again, if you get drilling back, under that $80, it's not really looking too great. It looks like you'd want to go test those lows of 78.40 again. So it's kind of my thoughts on the 20-year. But any thoughts from you, Shy, on the bonds right now?
it's it's funny, the bond market, like those auctions did used to move markets drastically.
Like now, I just
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
care.
10-year
Somebody will
yield.
say there's a bond auction. I'm like, okay, like it doesn't matter. Like not for me at least.
Yeah, so I think this what was I gonna say? Oh, the 10-year yield is the driver of this market, in my opinion. So like, if you see the 10-year yield at 4.7, 4.8, the market's gonna go down. That's significantly higher. Right now, it's trading towards 4.5. So like, I think these auctions are huge on seeing the tail bids for it, and it's gonna affect the 10-year yield. But that is the benchmark right now on telling like what's gonna happen to the market. So it is really important. I do think TLT might be going up, and that might be an interesting play on if you have cash, especially when you're seeing the tears that we were worried about Trump. It's not as bad as a lot of people feared, and that's going to affect the treasury yield because the
I
strength
hear
of
ya.
dollar is associated with the treasury yield. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. 100%. We got about like 30 seconds till this market opens, I think. Oh no, 1 second. Ding ding. There it is. Market is open. There's that bell. I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, yeah, but I do have a bearish bias on NQ as of now. We'll see if that changes. But I'm wanting us to sell. I'm not in any positions yet, but I'm definitely looking for potential spots for entries if I see something clear. So we'll be looking at that. But tickers from the chat, yeah, RGTI. Let's take a look at that real quick. RGTI Rigetti. We've taken a look at that a few times, I think. Daily gotten a lot of momentum recently. It's definitely pulled back a bit, and retracing from that $4 bounce there, or that $5. So we're right at that gap, and we're trading in it right now, trying to hold in that gap, which is at, what is that level? 1292 is the specific level where this gap starts. So my rules for gap say, you want to go first target if you're trading a gap for me is going to be that 50% retracement of the gap, which here is 1524 on the chart. So if you are long, I'd be looking for that potential spot to potentially take profits, or that's where I really want to see aggressive buying speed up and get through for the actual gap fill. Once you get the gap fill, it's, for me, I mean, that's really the trade here. I don't know if I'd be in it more than that, but that's just a shorter term kind of thought from me. The longer term thoughts Shay might be able to give. But yeah, any thoughts on Rigetti, Shay?
Yeah, so I want to I hate talking poorly about stocks, especially tickers. Rigetti it's not a bad company. It really isn't. It's just there's a better company out there. it's I think I'm a massive IonQ bull, so I'm talking my book a bit, but I do think that their trapped ion technology is like widely recognized as the most precise and scalable approach in quantum computing, mainly because their systems can work in a room temperature environment. However, like the superconducting qubits that's used by Rigetti and also IBM, like they just require extreme cooling, like near absolute zero. So like it's almost like space level temperatures, and it might be an interesting approach to quantum computing. But like I don't know. I don't see how it's scalable as like a trapped ion technology. So I think this is one of those names where like there's so few options out there on getting a pure play quantum name. Like there's only four or five, but really there's only one best, and then a half one, so I call one and a half. Rigetti's the half. So like they're gonna catch bids if there's any kind of bullish commentary in the quantum theme. So you're seeing that with Rigetti. It just the risk and reward of Rigetti above $10 is drastically different than an IonQ at 40, just because of what I referenced before, where IonQ has a 70% CAGR. They're gonna hit $1 billion in revenue by 2030, and they're about to be profitable in 2 years. Rigetti can't say that. They're not at that stage of their growth trajectory yet. They're much, I don't know how much further behind, but they're not even close to the level that IonQ is at. So that's my commentary on Rigetti. It's not bearish as much as I thought it would be, but it's more I'm bullish on IonQ, and I don't see why I would not divest away from IonQ. Like why would I use dollars towards Rigetti rather than investing in IonQ if I want that quantum exposure?
Yeah, 100%. I get you. Somebody was wondering about your opinion on ticker U in the context of all the Roaring Kitty volatility. Somebody asked about GME too. We'll talk about that
Oh,
after.
Unity?
But yeah, Unity. Any thoughts about that? And then obviously Roaring Kitty came out and tweeted last night. He's purring again. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. I hate it all. I think it's ridiculous. But yeah. Any thoughts from you?
So yeah, Unity. First off, like I hate that's catching a bid from something like Roaring Kitty. It's annoying because like his thing is about GameStop shitcodes. Unity's a very real company. Um, they essentially, I've said this before, but like they have a massive duopoly that a lot of people are forgetting because of this narrative false stock price. They just see their stock price is down, down, down. It's had somewhat of a bid in the past like couple months, but like it's down significantly what it was before. They are essentially if you're bullish in AR and VR, Unity, their engine is beyond 60% of all the AR and VR content out there. So they're the undisputed leader in the space, And I think that's why with Lisa Khan gone and Trump-led presidency is going to be very pro-business, I really would not be surprised if Meta acquires Unity at a very high premium, like, very high, just because of that duopoly that they have already. And they also power 70% of the top 1,000 mobile games out there. They have 2 million active creators monthly that use their engine. Like their tools are widely applicable across so many different industries. Like a lot of people think they're just a gaming company. No, like they're used in automotive, architecture, manufacturing. Like you can use Unity for a lot of the design visualization or the simulations or the training. Like it's incredible their technology. They just had the worst management before that did not know that was not developer focused. They invested in a lot of areas of their business that were just not profitable at all, and they just wasted. They relied too much on their premium technology to make these like moonshot initiatives or investments that really hurt them in the ass the past couple of years. But we have a new CEO on board 6 or 9 months ago, maybe even a year ago now. He is doing exactly what you wanted a new CEO for Unity to be doing. He's very developer focused. He cut off those unprofitable legs of the business, and 2024 was just one of those years of reorganization of Unity, and it made their fundamentals a mess to monitor because when you cut off legs of your business, there's a lot of near-term dollar headwinds associated with it, and it made their margins look really wonky. Their revenue decelerated because, again, once you cut some of your parts of your business, you're going to make less money. I do think this is going to be one of those turnaround stories of 2025, not just because Roaring Kitty is advocating for it, but because they spent the whole year last year doing all the necessary steps to have a launching pad to go forward on actual business initiatives. Look what AppLovin did in the past year. There's no reason Unity can't have some of AppLovin's market share of what they're doing in the ad spend, especially their AI-driven ad spend. Like Unity's Axon is incredible. I mean, AppLovin's Axon is like chef's kiss, but it's not going to be the end-all be-all. It's not just be a massive monopoly. Unity will be part of that conversation going forward, and that's on top of everything I just said on their engine via AR and VR and their engine via top mobile games. Like it's just their technology does not make sense for them not to succeed in this environment we're about to enter. Now we have to monitor corporate execution, and this is the biggest headache stock I've held in my portfolio for a couple years. I chose this over AppLovin 2 or 3 years ago because I was just so bullish on AR and VR and that other elements of their business. Clearly, I was wrong about that, but I do think Unity is going to be a $50+ stock in the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah,
And
good
then once
stuff,
that
Shy.
occurs, narrative falls price action, and then everyone's going to believe in their duopoly and standard premium valuation. That's just how the game goes.
We got XYZ. It's now block. I didn't even know that happened. Let me take a look at this.
That was
Yeah,
like the first dumb
didn't
thing
they
of the year.
already do that too? Didn't they already change their name once? That's just weird. This thing's been consolidating kind of to the downside here. Not really aggressive selling, in my opinion, though. Let me look at the weekly, though. Yeah, I mean, just retesting these previous highs, really, I think you've made a beautiful base around that $50, and, you know, you're starting to make higher highs, higher lows on the weekly, so that's healthy. I just think right now we're kind of in a period of consolidation and going kind of sideways to the downside here. But I'd watch this. We have this gap here from, what is this? Let me just mark this real quick, from 78.10 to 82.39. I'd watch that spot for any more buys, any more big bidders. If we do retest that, you can see we already came down into that for one day, and definitely got a nice bounce out of that area. So I'd look to see that hold if we do get any more tests. If not, if that doesn't hold, I would look for us. I would really be pretty confident that this is going to go C69.03. So if you do, you know, get aggressive selling through that area and under that 78.10, I would bet pretty fat that we would hit that 69.03. So that's kind of what I'm looking for there. But any more thoughts from you, Shy, on that one?
I'm not touching any stock that's associated with Jack Dorsey. I think he's one of the worst public CEOs out there.
I love it.
Just
So
no.
firm on that.
He,
Um,
yeah,
let's
he
see.
just does not care about shareholder value.
Did you touch on Palantir already?
I
I mean,
did
you're
earlier,
okay.
but they're catching a bit today. They're at $78 now, which is great to see. They're
Yeah,
reporting their earnings. What was I gonna say? I'm looking at their chart, see when they're reporting their earnings.
looks
They're
like.
reporting it in
Let's see it.
10 days. It looks like the third.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I see it now.
So yeah, so Palantir is going to it's going to be a noisier earnings quarter for Palantir because obviously their stock has run up significantly in the past couple months, but like a lot of their stock-based compensation for leadership and management is rewarding them. It's like they can sell out of their stock if it hits 50 or $60. Clearly, we're way past that. So I think we're going to see a lot of, we're going to see an EPS miss because of this, and you're going to maybe see, depending on the revenue beats or like how much the business is doing outside of that, how much of a beat that is. I do think that earnings miss is going to try cause some kind of algo driven dip, and probably will get bought up because once you like dig into it more, it's not because of anything business, um, any thesis breaking reasons on why like their margins miss. It's purely because they're rewarding their high talent, hardworking employees after years of taking them from 8 to 50, $60. So I think it'll bounce from probably from there. But either way, like this, they need to grow 35 to 40% this year. They have to for this valuation to like stick, and that's a tall order. So I think there is going to be some near term weakness for sure in this name, and because of that EPS miss, and I think that's a buying potential short term bounce.
Yeah, somebody was wondering about GME as well. I I say this every time I look at it or Warren Kitty comes around, but it's hot garbage. You know, if there's momentum and you can catch some short-term trades on it, and you like to play with that, by all means you do you. But for me, I don't even like to touch this anymore, and I just think it's a volatile piece of garbage to be honest. But definitely can get some short-term momentum moves when it's there, right? You can absolutely play the short-term plays and catch some momentum, but um, I wouldn't be in the same spot as the apes are. You know what I mean? Just sitting in bag holding this name is just not worth it. So wouldn't be doing that. But when there is momentum, you can definitely catch some big moves on here, especially trading options. You just gotta be careful and know what you're doing. But yeah, GME not very much fun. We're
It's
just,
it's
oh
not
god, we're
it's
right
not a
at these
real fuck
lows.
it's not a real company, guys. So
No.
I would not even touch this. It's a vehicle to capture some kind of alpha of a trade, maybe. It's not a real company. It's gonna eventually divest into some kind of crypto holding company in a similar fashion. MSTR transitioned from what they used to be to what they are now. I think there's another name, maybe Semler or SMLR, maybe did the same thing. Their their business is dead. GameStop is dead. It really is. It's a brick and mortar that's dying and it's living off of short squeezes. don't don't touch this company with it. Like just don't.
I'm with you. People want to hear about GE. Well, they had earnings this morning, so I mean, ripping man, over 200 bucks. For me, I haven't listened to the earnings call, so I don't know exactly how it went. But I mean, not gonna try and fade this strength, right? You're seeing continuation of the strength. Obviously, $200 is a giant psychological level, so I do feel like we could end up pulling back to that and kind of chopping sideways around that area. But other than that, would not fade that momentum until you actually have a reason to. So looking really good there. If you are long GE, I mean, you're stoked this morning. So I think that's looking pretty good. What else we got?
Dude, Celsius is under $25. That's nuts.
Oh, I don't. I want to look at that real quick. Celsius. It's been a minute. Yeah, that's not looking too good. Another lower low. Oh boy. Yeah, we're getting into some rough territory on Celsius. Gosh, what a crazy mover over this whole year. You know what I mean? And then into this new year. I mean, we saw this thing go from that $40 trading under $50 all the way to, I mean, literally cents off from $100 and just right back down. Now we're sitting at that 24.62. It's rough for Celsius. Not looking too great. What do you feel like for the long term there, Shy? Because I feel like you know, at this
For
time
Celsius?
last year, yeah, we were all feeling really good about Celsius, and it's complete opposite. I feel like now. So I'm curious on how
You,
like what's your thoughts for the year?
everyone can look back to the recordings to back this up for me on Wolf Spaces in like this time last year. But I sold more than half my position in Celsius at $80 or $90. I think it was like 82, 80 to 85. Once I forgot what occurred. It was the Pepsi thing. Um, Once I saw that, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna revise our guide significantly lower. It's not gonna be a 50+% grower anymore. It might be 30%. I was way wrong. This went even more aggressive. So here's the thing. Like I didn't. You guys might think I timed it perfectly. I should have sold all my position, not just half. I had some level of nostalgia associated with Celsius, which was again something I've been working on, not having so much emotion attached to my holdings. But they went from 140% growth, 108, 102 to 3% this year. So when I was like, oh, they're supposed to be growing 45 to 50% this year, and that Pepsi news dropped earlier last year, it's like, I think that's going to be revised downward. And this is like a consumer brand stock, and those have no recurring revenue nature to it. It's going to get penalized significantly. So I sold half, but I got overweight this name in the low teens before, and I just like kept it because like I still love the product. I use it, drink it every day, essentially. But I think a lot of people got into Celsius last year with the expectation of them being a hyper growth company because they've got 3 straight years of triple digit growth, 50% this year and probably 40% next year, 30%, etc. That was not the case. They got rug pulled from Pepsi having a chokehold on Celsius's product essentially. And now um, Celsius went through a transition from hyper growth investors to now an earnings expansion story, and that transition takes a long time to get through for that narrative. So for Celsius, it's all about their international growth opportunity, in my opinion, at this stage. They, I think, I think right now I think it's a really good place to DCA into Celsius right now, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere for the next like 6, 12 months. Um, I think just because they're still dealing with that shelving issue that Pepsi just created for them, and I would get really bullish if because remember Pepsi invested money into Celsius. I forgot what valuation post split, but at that time pre-split was $40. So Pepsi is an investor in Celsius. If I see any headlines of Pepsi like buying more equity into Celsius, that's when I'm going to be slamming the like I'm going to buy leaps on Celsius. Until then, I just don't have an urgency, especially when this really is not my lane. My lane is AI, robotics, quantum, software. Like this is an energy drink at the end of the day. Like I trust fundamentals more on stocks outside my lane, and right now the fundamentals they're screaming to me that fair value is at $35 to $38 if you want to use Monster as a fair comp. But right now the sentiment's so bad that I don't catch a falling knife. Like right now, the chart's so freaking broken. It broke that 26 level again, and there's better opportunities out there. That's a long-winded answer of saying that.
I get you. I need to look at these Apple calls I have. Oh, they're up 44%. I am gonna trim some more of those real quick. Very
Is
nice.
ARM getting destroyed right now? Yeah,
Is it?
down 8%.
Ooh,
Semis are
that's
getting
rough.
kicked hard. What is happening to ARM?
Yeah, that's rough. Jeez.
Yeah, what's happening to semiconductors
Taking a
industry?
look at SoFi from the chat as well. That's looking really good this morning, actually. Getting some momentum off the open. Let's see here. I want to take a look at the daily, though, see where we're really at. Oh, we're at these highs. Okay, so we're trading at highs on SoFi. Yeah, I mean, got to be careful here. We just took those highs, but you are having, you see momentum over these highs, right? We didn't just peek our head over. We're actually like getting some continuation a little bit. I definitely like to see more, but I think, you got to, after breaking out, you've gotten a day of back testing. You might see little more back test of those previous highs maybe today. But I think SoFi looks pretty good for more upside unless you get really, I mean, I wouldn't want to see under that 1690. That would be under Tuesday's low. That really wouldn't be good for SoFi, especially if you're, day trading this. So kind of my thoughts there. Any thoughts on SoFi, Shy?
I'm just not bullish in the space.
Yeah,
They could
get
be an
you.
incredible company. I don't think fintech. There's I mean I think Robinhood is the only moat within fintech due to their UI experience that they create for investors to come back every day. I think that's a real moat. I think people discounted that way too much in the past, and you're seeing them rewarded. But I don't know. What's I just don't. It's such a competitive industry and such a low margin industry that they are cannibalizing each other's take rates, and I'm just not bullish in this space. So if I could be a great company, I wouldn't invest because I'm just not bullish in that theme. I'm a thematic investor at the end of the day. So my 2 cents on that. But great chart. I'm happy for the shareholders because they went through a really tough couple of years, and they're benefiting off of it by being patient. And that's what you love to see. Like those kind of investors get rewarded with high conviction names that maintain being patient, and now they're bearing the fruits of their patiency.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, let's see. How's our big names doing? Nvidia is looking strong so far. Not crazy momentum, kind of a slower grind up, but grinding up. We got Apple. I just took a trim on more of those 235 calls that I had. We hit 226. I should have been trimming into there, but into the open, that would have been even better. I think those cons were up probably over 50%, but I got a 44% trim, so I'll take that. And I'm just holding some runners now. That was actually my first options trade of the whole year, so shout out to that. I'm very happy to take a green one on the first one. If you know, like the way I swing trade, I really don't take many trades. The trades I do take, they're going to be kind of for the most part a little bit longer dated. This one is definitely a shorter dated swing, but for the most part they're going to be longer dated and like bigger trades. So I definitely take a lot less on the swing trading side of things. So that's why it took this long for me to take my first one of the year. But doing good, and I'm happy to start the options account off strong for the year. And we got what else? We got Microsoft's going sideways. Tesla getting a nice pop. Let's see where we at on Tesla on the daily. That's important. Still just kind of in this consolidation period going sideways. When Tesla does go sideways, it really loves to go sideways, and it can be horrible to day trade. So just be careful there, especially if you're trading options contracts. Gotta be a little careful when this thing does go sideways. But when there's the momentum, that's when you want to be all over it, right? When it's impulsive, that's when you want to have the risk on. Coinbase looking healthy again, but looking a little kind of worrisome the way this is popping into the open. But we'll see how it does on a pullback. But yeah, everything kind of to the upside, but nothing too crazy strong that's popping out to me. I guess besides coin. So, any more thoughts from you, Shy, or are you ready to wrap up the morning?
Some of my favorite stocks that I've been wanting to add are pulling back significantly today. So I will be watching, maybe finally using that 6% cash position I have into
Yeah,
a couple of these names. I'm really excited, but it looks like I don't know. SPY and Qs are disconnected. But SPY's flat, Qs are down 0.4, 0.5%. Clearly because of semiconductors. Some profit taking maybe, or maybe these initiatives are just repackaged previous commitments, and there's like a Trump putting that Trump spice on there and make it feel like it's new, but the billions of dollars maybe it was already committed before, and there's repackaging. I don't know why semis are pulling back, but it also could be. I do have a thesis where SK Hynix, that are the memory giants, they reported their earnings recently, and they said that their guidance was to limit additional investments this year. That might have spooked a lot of like the semiconductor names because they're memory giants, and if there's any kind of slowdown in no, capex investments, like it's gonna be a trickle effect. So maybe that's what's occurring right now. But either way, be cautious. Don't get over greedy, and Next week's a big one for earnings. Like it's a big earnings week. Wednesday is ridiculous on earnings. I think it's a power hour. So tune into the Wolf thing. I think we're
Yeah, I
streaming
was
all
gonna
day on
say
Spaces on
we're
Wednesday.
running our it's arguably the biggest space of the whole quarter. And I talked to Wolf yesterday, and we're actually just gonna be combining both of our spaces together and just one giant Tesla, FOMC, Meta, all the earnings space. So it's gonna be a crazy day. Make sure you guys are tuning into that, and of course make sure you guys are subscribed to the Stock Twitch channel and liking up the streams. And yeah, have a great day, guys. Trade safe. I hope y'all make plenty of money. I haven't taken any positions yet on NQ, but I'm definitely watching. We got this new 4-hour candle opening in 5 minutes on the futures, so watching that. And yeah, I do have a bearish bias though. We'll see if that plays out or not. If we do start to sell off, just some levels real quick that I'm looking at for potential targets on NQ would be that 700 even. I got what is this 525.50, and then that 370.25 to the downside, all massive sell side liquidity areas. You also got one lower. I don't think we get down here any time really soon, like today or anything. But another spot is 170, 175 on the NQ. So just some spots to watch out for if we do sell. And if we want to rip it to the upside, I mean, fuck, we could very much see highs pretty soon, all-time highs again. I mean, we're not far off, so wouldn't be surprised if we see that soon and get some displacement to the upside. But again, everybody enjoy the day, trade safe, follow your rules, and we'll see you bright and early in the morning. Have a good one, y'all. Yes, sir. Good stuff.